Did you find the place okay?
Yeah, I did.
Good. Did you have any trouble parking?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, my name is Camille.
I'm Emily.
Is that what you prefer to be called?
Yeah.
Good. Well, we'll get right into it. What brings you in today?
Recently my parents decided to separate. It had been an ongoing thing when I was a junior in high school. They had issues here and there, but last year, I think it was like April, my mom decided to just drive down to Atlanta. She's from Indiana, we're from Indiana, and tell me that she decided to get a divorce, or to start to get a divorce.
So did you feel confused? Is that what you're saying? Because you didn't understand why?
Yeah, I did. I knew that, like, my dad in my junior year had left the house. My mom asked him to leave, and he stayed with somebody else. And so when he came back, I thought things were a lot better. And, like, what I didn't know is that my parents had just decided to start withholding stuff from me and my sister. And so on the outside, it looked like things were getting better, but really on the inside, since neither of us were home, I was in college, she was in college, it looked okay from the outside, but really, they were sleeping in separate rooms, and the stuff was just getting worse and worse. So I was really confused when she came down. She just popped up out of nowhere. So, yeah, I'm really confused.
Did she tell you and your sister at the same time, or did she consult you guys personally?
I think she consulted both of us personally. I think she drove to my sister's college, told her there, and then drove all the way here to Atlanta and then told me, and that's how we both found out.
Okay. Did she tell you when it first happened? Did she explain to you what was going on, or was it just completely a blindsided divorce issue?
She, for a while, I'd always been the person that was like her shoulder to cry on and stuff, because my sister was gone and I was at home for high school 2 years. So I always knew what her deal was and what her issues with my dad were. And so when she came and told me it was final, she just kind of reiterated stuff. But to me, it seemed like wasn't exactly clear, because he had done the things that she asked him to do. And so it had to be something else. It had to be some things she just like didn't have feelings for him anymore, or things weren't the same. I don't really know. But it was really confusing for a while, and it was, what made it worse is that my dad really did not want it at all, and so that's what made it really confusing to me, that like my mom would just give up on him when he was willing to do anything for her.
So are you saying that you felt like you had to be strong for the both of them in order for anything to work?
Right. I felt that a lot of times I felt like I was the medium. Like, she would come to me and ask for advice, and I was 17 years old at the time. I didn't even know like what was going on between them exactly, but she would ask, should I do this for him or should I do that? And I felt like I had to like be her rock a lot and just be able to say, oh, well, it's gonna get better, it's just dad, it's just a phase. But eventually I learned that it's not my battle, and that it's their fault, not mine.
Exactly, and every marriage is different, but that's a big burden to carry, for you to be strong for someone who you've always had there for you.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to understand, that they need you as well as you need them.
Right.
Have you talked to them at all recently?
Yeah. We don't talk as much about the divorce. I'll get an email, which is pretty weird, every here and now, talking about like papers were signed or you're a dependent, the really like technical stuff, but we haven't talked about it, the actual separation, in a while. And I can tell that my dad hurts really bad, and I wish we could talk about it, but it always seems like he'd rather just not talk about it. And that's kind of like a trend with my family. If something's bothering people, we just don't really talk about it. So we talk here and there, but usually it's kind of under the rug.
Every family is different. Everyone copes differently with situations that has hurt them and made them go through struggles. They all go through it differently. So don't feel like you need to be the strongest one because you are the baby, you are the youngest one. So they not only, like, it's a give and take, should be a give and take. You can be strong for them, but they also need to be strong for you. And a good way to have that happen is to communicate. Do you talk to your sister about it?
Yeah, we talk a lot, but she has that side of my family where if something's like bothering her or something, she's mad about it, she'll either like take it out on you in another way, like, you know, you forgot to take the trash out or you forgot to do the dishes. She'll get really mad and you find out she's just upset about something else. But we've had a couple phone conversations about it, and like we'll talk face to face sometimes, but I think she even feels more that she's had to be like my rock, and she likes to just say that things will be okay and that they can handle it and whatever. But we have had some good times where we really communicate, and like I know that she's just as upset about it as I am, but she just shows it in a different way, and she would rather, you know, not confront those issues. Like, she knows they're there, why mess around with them? And sometimes I'm more of the, like, you know, confrontational, like, I want to tell you how I feel so that we understand each other, because, like, I'm not okay with it, but we can agree to disagree. Like, I'm not okay, I don't agree with my mom's decision, but I'm not her. So I think that's what me and my sister communicate about, is that, you know, we'll never really truly understand why, you know, my mom feels the way she did or why my dad did the things he did, but, you know, we can agree that we will always be family, and that's all really that matters.
And that's very important, and I'm glad that you realize that. And it's incredible, since we are young and you have other people to talk to, but I want you to know that it's okay to have your weak moments. Like, you don't have to be strong the whole time. Have you talked to your parents, like, individually, one-on-one?
I talked to my dad when I got back from school. The year that it happened, last March or April, I got back to Indiana about like May, end of May, and like that same night that we got back, we had a conversation about it, and that's really the only time, other than like we send emails to each other about it, but that's really the only time face to face, like I've seen him cry about it, or I've seen him like get really upset about it, and he's told me, you know, the way he feels. And my mom, we talk a lot more, just because we've always been able to like tell each other everything. So she's told me a lot more, we've communicated a lot more than like me and my dad have, but we don't talk that much about it.
Has this happened before? Like, you guys talk about other issues? Like, before any of this happened, did you ever talk about issues between each other?
Yeah, we talked, I can remember all the way back to my freshman year of high school, my mom, like, taking me to Starbucks and, like, talking to me about my dad and, like, what was bothering her. Now, my dad, no, he never really said anything. But I could tell, like, you know, my dad has been clinically depressed since I was, like, 13 or 14. So I knew for a long time that, like, something was wrong with him. And then I found out that it was, like, affecting my mom. So we've talked about other things, not just, like, the divorce or separation, but just relationship issues between my mom and dad and, like, the family and stuff.
Well, it's good to always keep that communication between everyone open. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but it has been a great session, and I'd just like to summarize to make sure that I understood that you feel confused because this divorce was kind of blindsided, like you weren't really expecting it, like, you know, you were strong, and you thought they were too, but it just sometimes it doesn't work out. I would like to continue, if it's okay with you, to come in next week. Does this time work for you next week? Okay.
Same time.
Well, have a good day.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.